Have you ever wondered why you keep waking up at night to pee and how to finally stop it? For many older adults, nighttime urination is one of the most frustrating, exhausting parts of getting older. You settle into bed, your body's tired, your eyes are ready to rest, and just when you start to drift off, the urge hits. But here's the truth: while medications and medical conditions can certainly play a role, what you eat, especially when it comes to vegetables, can quietly influence how often your bladder bothers you at night. Certain vegetables can irritate the bladder lining, throw off your fluid balance, or spike inflammation in the urinary tract. Others, they can soothe, support, and even help retrain your bladder to hold steady through the night. In this video, we're diving into 5 vegetables that help reduce nighttime urination in older adults. These aren't obscure or hard to find foods. They're simple, familiar ingredients that, when eaten regularly and at the right time of day, can make a real difference in how often you wake up during the night. Each one supports your body in a unique way, from reducing bladder irritation to calming inflammation to supporting kidney function and fluid balance. And as we go through them, we'll also explore why these effects matter specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. Stay tuned until the end, because once you understand how these vegetables work together, you might just find yourself sleeping deeper, longer, and waking up far more refreshed than you have in years. Let's get started. Number 1, pumpkin and its seeds. The first vegetable might surprise you, not just for what it does, but for how quietly powerful it is. I'm talking about pumpkin, and more specifically, both its flesh and its seeds. While most people think of pumpkins as something seasonal or decorative, older adults who struggle with nighttime urination should see it as something far more important: a gentle, natural way to support bladder strength and reduce urgency after dark. Let's start with the seeds. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, a mineral that plays a key role in maintaining prostate health, especially in men over 60. But even for women, these seeds provide phytoestrols, plant compounds that reduce inflammation in the bladder wall and help calm overactivity in the urinary system. Studies have shown that regular intake of pumpkin seed extract can reduce the number of nightly bathroom visits in both men and women. But here's the good news: you don't need to take a pill. Just eating a handful of plain unsalted pumpkin seeds during the day can support similar benefits over time. Now, what about the flesh-cooked pumpkin? Whether roasted or steamed, is high in beta carotene and fiber. That matters because fiber helps regulate your body's hydration and digestion, which are both deeply connected to how your kidneys and bladder behave. When your bowels are sluggish, your bladder tends to compensate. That can lead to more frequent urges, especially at night. But when you eat fiber-rich foods like pumpkin regularly, things start to balance out from the inside. One man I spoke with, his name's Leonard, 78, started adding pumpkin to his evening meal 3 times a week. Not a big amount, just half a cup, sometimes blended into a soup, sometimes mashed with a little olive oil. Within a month, he noticed he was waking up only once per night instead of 3 times. It wasn't a miracle, he said, but it was steady, and that made me trust it. His story isn't unusual. Pumpkin works slowly but surely, and unlike over-the-counter remedies, it doesn't leave you dried out, groggy, or dependent. It's also worth noting that pumpkin is naturally low in sodium. That's critical for older adults because high sodium levels lead to water retention during the day and fluid release at night, something that fills the bladder and disrupts your sleep. By reducing sodium and increasing potassium, rich foods like pumpkin, you're telling your kidneys to regulate better, hold fluid more efficiently, and reduce that nighttime flush. Another quiet benefit: pumpkin's natural magnesium content. Magnesium is a mineral many older adults are low in, and it plays a role in relaxing the muscles of the bladder wall. When those muscles are tight or irritated, you feel more urgency, but when they're calm, your bladder can hold more and signal less a simple calming food. Like pumpkin can help make that possible. And here's the best part, it's easy too. Prepare no peeling or fussing you can. Buy it canned, just make sure it's plain. Pumpkin, not pie filling, or cube it fresh, and roasted with a little olive oil and cinnamon. It pairs well with meats grains, or soups, and eaten regularly especially. Earlier in the day, it helps set your bladder up for a quieter, more restful night, so the next time you're thinking about what to add to your grocery list, don't overlook this humble vegetable. Pumpkin isn't flashy, but it's reliable. And for older adults who just want to sleep through the night without multiple trips to the bathroom, that kind of quiet, reliability might be exactly what you need. Number 2, cucumber. While many people think of cucumbers as nothing more than a crunchy salad topping, they carry a set of gentle, targeted benefits that make them a quiet hero when it comes to calming an irritated bladder, especially at night for seniors dealing with frequent urination after bedtime. Cucumbers offer a cooling, anti-inflammatory effect that helps your urinary system settle down, not stir up. Let's start with the water content. Yes, cucumbers are hydrating, but that's not a bad thing. Even if you're trying to avoid urination at night, the key is when you eat them. When cucumbers are eaten during the earlier part of the day, say with lunch or as a midday snack, they help flush out your system in a way that is gentle and rhythmic. That means your body handles most of the excess fluid long before bedtime rather than dumping it into the bladder in the middle of the night. But there's more going on than just water. Cucumbers are also full of compounds that help calm bladder irritation. One of them is called cucurbitacin, a natural anti-inflammatory agent that reduces swelling in the bladder lining. This is especially useful if you've been dealing with that subtle burning or tingling feeling that makes you feel like you need to go even when your bladder isn't really full. By reducing that internal irritation, cucumbers reduce the false alarms your bladder sends overnight. They're also rich in silica and potassium too, nutrients that support kidney function and help regulate the balance of sodium in your body. Why does that matter? Because too much sodium during the day leads to more fluid retention, which your body then releases at night when you lie down. But when you support your kidneys with hydrating potassium-rich foods like cucumber, you shift that fluid processing back into the daytime, giving your bladder a break when it matters. I remember speaking with a woman named Doris. She's 83 and had struggled with nighttime bathroom trips for years. She didn't want medication and she didn't want to give up her tea, so she made one change. She started eating half a cucumber with her lunch every day. Within 2 weeks, she told me she was only getting up once during the night instead of 4 times, and she said something that stuck with me. I didn't feel like my bladder was yelling at me anymore. It just relaxed. That's the kind of effect we're talking about here, not a sudden fix, but a slow shift toward calm and control when your bladder lining is less inflamed, when your kidneys are working better, and when your sodium-potassium balance is stable. Everything starts to function more smoothly, and cucumbers, despite their simplicity, are an easy way to move in that direction. Now, don't wait until dinner to eat them. That's one mistake people often make. Eating cucumbers late in the day means their hydrating effects kick in just as you're heading to bed. Instead, aim to have them at breakfast or lunch. Add slices to your sandwich, cube them into cottage cheese, or toss them into a cold salad with vinegar and dill. Their cooling nature isn't just for flavor, it's for function. One more thing too, remember cucumbers are naturally soothing to the digestive tract as well. And as many older adults know, a backed up digestive system can press on the bladder and increase urgency. By keeping things regular and settled in the gut, you reduce extra pressure on the bladder. Everything in the body is connected, and cucumber supports more than one system at a time. So the next time you open your fridge, don't overlook that pale green vegetable sitting quietly in the corner it might not look like medicine, but sometimes the best remedies don't need a label, they just need to be eaten regularly, thoughtfully, and at the right time of day. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3 is celery. Celery is one of those vegetables that often goes unnoticed. It's quiet, crunchy, and usually just part of a soup base or snack tray. But for older adults who struggle with frequent urination at night, celery can play a surprisingly helpful role, especially when it's used with care and purpose. What makes celery so effective is how it gently encourages your body to eliminate excess fluid during the day. That might sound odd at first. Why would I want something that makes me urinate more? But here's the key. It helps your body process and release that fluid earlier when you're awake and active, not later when you're trying to sleep. Celery acts as a natural diuretic, which means it helps your kidneys filter sodium and flush water from your body, unlike harsh pharmaceutical diuretics that can dehydrate or deplete your minerals. Celery works gradually, preserving balance while still lightening the load on your bladder. When you take in celery before late afternoon, say at breakfast or lunch, it gives your body time to shift that fluid out before bedtime. There's also something special about the combination of sodium and potassium in celery. It's one of the few vegetables that contains natural sodium, but in a ratio that actually helps your body manage water retention more efficiently. When sodium and potassium are in balance, your body doesn't feel the need to hold on to water all day, which means there's less to let go of once you lie down. Celery also helps reduce internal bloating and pressure. For many older adults, even a small buildup of intestinal gas or retain fluid in the abdomen can press against the bladder and make nighttime urgency worse. But when digestion is smoother and inflammation in the gut is lower, there's simply less pressure on the urinary system. That's another reason celery can be so helpful. It supports digestion and fluid movement together. Let me tell you about Thomas, age 74. He started drinking fresh celery juice 3 mornings a week. Not the store-bought kind full of sugar, but simply blending 2 stalks of celery with a little water and lemon. Within 2 weeks, his evening bathroom visits dropped from 3 to just 1. He didn't make any other changes I didn't expect much, he said, but my bladder just calmed down. It's not just juice either. You can chop celery into tuna salad, add it to morning omelets, or roast it with other root vegetables. The key is to have it earlier in the day so its natural flushing effect has time to work through your system well before bedtime. Celery is also rich in flavonoids, plant compounds that help reduce inflammation in the urinary tract. For seniors with overactive bladders or those who feel the need to go even when the bladder isn't full, reducing inflammation in that area can make a world of difference. And for those worried about digestion, celery fiber can help gently move things along. It's not too rough and it's not too soft. It's just enough to keep the gut regular, which in turn supports bladder health. Because as you've heard before, when your digestive tract is sluggish, the bladder usually pays the price. Another bonus: celery is hydrating, but not in a way that overwhelms the bladder. It gives your body the water it needs without flooding your system with liquid that has to be dumped at 2 a.m. And because it's low in sugar and calories, you can eat it often without any downside. So if you're looking for a quiet, dependable way to reduce nighttime urination, don't skip over celery. It may not make headlines, but its calming, flushing, and balancing properties can go a long way, especially when combined with the other vegetables we're covering in this video. It's not about doing one big thing. It's about small, smart habits built one vegetable at a time. Number 4, green beans. Green beans might look plain and Simple, but for seniors dealing with frequent nighttime urination. They're anything but ordinary, these slender vegetables carry a powerful mix of nutrients that work behind the scenes to reduce bladder overactivity, support kidney balance, and improve sleep quality, all without causing unwanted side effects or strain on the system. First, green beans are naturally high in magnesium, and magnesium isn't just for muscle cramps or bone health. It plays a key role in relaxing the smooth muscles of the bladder when those muscles are tense or inflamed. Even a small amount of urine can trigger that strong, urgent need to go. But when those muscles are calm, your bladder can hold more with less discomfort. That's what makes green beans such a quiet hero in this fight. They relax things at the source gently and consistently. They also contain a decent amount of water, but not so much that they flood your system. That's an important detail many older adults make: the mistake of drinking water too close to bedtime or eating foods with a high water load late in the day. That liquid has to go somewhere, and usually it wakes you up. But when you get your hydration from water-rich vegetables like green beans, especially earlier in the evening, your body absorbs what it needs more, gradually and efficiently. Another key advantage of green beans is their fiber profile. It's not just about bowel movements, it's about reducing abdominal pressure when your intestines are bloated or backed up. That pushes down on your bladder, and when there's pressure, there's urgency. Green beans help regulate digestion and reduce that internal tension, which in turn allows the bladder to function more calmly. Overnight, a woman I knew, her name was Margaret, age 81, told me she started eating green beans every evening with her dinner. Nothing fancy, just lightly steamed with a pinch of sea salt and olive oil. She said she noticed a shift in her sleep within a week. I was shocked. She said, I didn't expect something so ordinary to help so much, but ordinary can be powerful, especially when it's consistent. Green beans are also low in oxalates, which matters more than people realize. High oxalate foods can irritate the urinary tract and make the bladder more sensitive. That's why, even though spinach or beets are often praised for their nutrients, they can sometimes backfire when it comes to urination. Green beans avoid that problem entirely. They soothe instead of irritate. Let's not forget their potassium content. Like celery, green beans offer a natural balance between sodium and potassium, which helps your kidneys regulate fluids without forcing your bladder to carry the burden. That balance helps prevent fluid retention during the day and, excessive release at night. One other thing to note, green beans are incredibly easy to digest for seniors with sensitive stomachs or chronic bloating. That matters because the easier a food is on your system, the less inflammation it triggers and the more energy your body can devote to healing, balancing, and staying asleep longer. You can prepare them in dozens of ways: steamed, roasted, sautéed, or tossed into soups. And because they're widely available and affordable, they're one of the most accessible vegetables for people on a fixed income. The real beauty of green beans is how quietly they work. You won't feel a jolt or see instant change overnight, but over a couple of weeks, many seniors report fewer trips to the bathroom and deeper, more refreshing sleep. And isn't that what we're all after? Not just fewer interruptions, but real healing rest. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, kale. Kale might be known as a trendy superfood, but for older adults struggling with nighttime urination, it's not about trends, it's about real, reliable support for your kidneys, bladder, and overall fluid balance. What makes kale stand out isn't just its vitamins, but the way it helps your body manage water without putting pressure on your system late at night. Let's start with its mineral profile. Kale is rich in potassium and calcium, 2 minerals that quietly support the kidneys in managing fluid balance and help the bladder stay calm and cooperative. A well-hydrated body that's properly balanced doesn't panic and signal the brain every few hours. Instead, it holds steady processes, waste more efficiently, and allows you to sleep through the night without being constantly disturbed. Kale is also loaded with vitamin C. But here's something people miss: when vitamin C comes from whole foods like kale, especially when cooked, it doesn't act like a bladder irritant the way synthetic supplements often do. Many seniors take high-dose vitamin C tablets hoping to boost their core system, but in reality, that overload can make the bladder more sensitive. Kale offers a gentler, safer route, and it's anti-inflammatory, really. Anti-inflammatory, that's important, because chronic low-level inflammation is one of the most common overlooked causes of bladder overactivity. If the lining of your bladder or urinary tract is even slightly inflamed, the nerves around it can become hypersensitive. Suddenly, even a small amount of urine feels urgent. Kale's antioxidants like quercetin and champerol help calm that fire over time. It's also worth noting that kale supports the liver. You might be thinking, what does the liver have to do with my nighttime urination? More than you'd guess. The liver helps filter hormones and toxins that, when unbalanced, can impact your body's fluid regulation and even your sleep cycles. A healthy mind liver helps everything else operate more smoothly, especially in older adults. One man I met, George, 74, was skeptical about kale. I thought it was just for vegans, he said, but after adding a cup of sautéed kale to his dinner 3 times a week, he noticed he wasn't waking up as often. He still went to the bathroom before bed, but once his head hit the pillow, he slept straight through. It was like my bladder finally got the message, he said. And that's the kind of subtle but powerful shift we're after. Now, if you're new to kale, don't overdo it at first. Start with a small amount and always cook it lightly to soften the fibers. Raw kale can be tough on the stomach for some folks, but steamed, sautéed, or blended into a warm soup, it becomes one of the most digestible and supportive greens you can see. Eat. The real magic in kale is that it works in multiple ways. It calms inflammation, balances mineral, supports detox, and helps the body handle fluids without drama. It's not flashy and it's not immediate, but with consistency, it works. And in a world full of sleep aids, prescriptions, and advice that doesn't always apply to older bodies, sometimes the best solution really is what's on your plate. Kale may not seem like a bladder food, but the results speak for themselves. Let's move towards something gentler, something deeper, something that supports your body instead of forcing it. Sleep doesn't have to be a fight with the right foods like kale. It can be a gift. Again, final thoughts: frequent nighttime urination isn't just annoying, it's draining. And when you're older, every hour of sleep counts. Your energy, your memory, your mood, even your immune system all depend on whether your body gets the deep, uninterrupted rest it needs to repair and reset. So when your bladder becomes the alarm clock again and again, it's not a small problem. It ripples through your entire day. But what today's video hopefully reminded you is this: sometimes the most effective support doesn't come from a pill bottle or a surgery suite. It comes from the foods you put on your plate, the rhythm you give your body, and the quiet adjustments you make that speak your body's language instead of shouting over it. These 5 vegetables, pumpkin, cucumber, celery, carrot, and kale, aren't magic bullets, but they are quiet allies. Each one works differently. Each one supports a different layer of the issue. And together they create a foundation your body can build on. You don't have to change everything all at once. Try starting with one. Maybe it's adding pumpkin seeds to your afternoon snack. Maybe it's having a side of sautéed kale with dinner twice a week. Little by little, you'll notice the difference, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in the way your nights feel longer, your mornings feel lighter, and your bathroom light stays off more than on. There's a quiet dignity in sleeping through the night. There's a strength in waking up rested. And as someone who's lived a long time, I'll tell you this, your body still wants to heal. It still wants balance. You just have to give it the pieces it needs. So if you're someone who's been frustrated with your sleep or wondering if things will ever improve, remember they can. And often they start improving the moment you begin treating your body like a partner, not a project. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.